At this time, we'd like to introduce the head coach from UConn, Dan Hurley. His Huskies sit at 10-7 overall, 1-3 in American Athletic Conference play. Had a strong week with his first American Athletic Conference win over SMU, and also playing Cincinnati tough in overtime and a loss on the road. Coach Hurley, we will now turn it over to you for your opening statement.
Yeah, obviously feel a lot better about, week two of conference play than week one. I felt like we showed improvement and looked to be a team progressing in the right direction. Defended well in both games. Took care of the ball better. Obviously had chances to win the Saturday game against a very good Cincinnati team on the road. So obviously a lot to learn from there. Tough loss, obviously, to handle there, with plenty of opportunities, to win. But, thrilled with the way some of our younger players played, and obviously, Jalen and, Al Tariq, had moments, where they played high-level ball. So just trying to keep this thing, improving and getting ready for a very good Tulsa team in a place where we obviously haven't had a whole lot of success playing.
Thank you, Coach. And that game indeed will be Wednesday at Tulsa at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News. A reminder for all of our participants to ask a question, please dial *1. You'll be added into the queue.
We will take our first question from Dom Amore with Hartford Courant. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Just want to ask you about Tulsa since you're going to be playing. Them in a couple of days. What do you know about them? What have you learned about them? And what do you know about playing in that building?
Yeah, obviously, haven't don't have a long history there. Obviously in terms of number of games, but haven't won there yet. And Frank does a great job. I think well-rounded team. Bonner, one of the better interior players in the league. Some pretty good perimeter shooters. In Horn and Scott Taplin. Outstanding point guard. And then again another matchup zone that's tricky to play against. Not exactly the same as Cincinnati, but some different type of wrinkles. But again, tough place to play. Historically they've been strong at home, and it hasn't been too kind to UConn recently.
Further questions for Coach? A reminder, please dial *1 to get into our queue. Coach Hurley, on Jalen Adams, who is now up to third all-time in the American scoring, 1,519 points, as well as fourth all-time in assists, 478. Your first year coaching Jalen Adams. Talk a little bit about his presence on the team this season.
Well, Jalen, I think he's really, improved a lot, especially recently in terms of like his focus and leadership. I think it's become really apparent, since that Central Florida game in particular. I think there's been a shift with him in terms of his mindset, his mentality, the way he's approaching things, which I think potentially could bode well for us moving forward. But he's had to obviously carry a heavy burden here in the program. there's a lot on his shoulders. He's got a tremendous amount of responsibility at the offensive end to carry a heavy load. He's been carrying it for this program, for the last couple of years, and for us to be, successful, and win games in a heck of a conference. He's going to have some really explosive games for us, moving forward. So he's had a heck of a career, but for us to win games in this league this year, we're going to have some big performances, obviously some high scoring games in the 20s, maybe even the 30s. And then also, he's got to play make for us too, because he's not surrounded by a well-rounded offensive attack.
Thank you, Coach. And one final call for any last questions for Coach. Again, *1 on your keypad.
We do have a follow-up question from Dom Amore with the Hartford Courant. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I got you all to myself, Dan. What are you seeing? I know you were encouraged by Josh Carlton's performance the other night, the last two nights, and what are you seeing behind this coming of age that he seems to be having the last couple of games?
I just, listen, this is really kind of Josh's freshman year. And I know he, is a sophomore, but, he didn't get very consistent minutes last year. This is the first time that, in his college career that he's being asked to have a role that he's been asked to have. It's kind of a, baptism by fire. And, he's taken some lumps. He's learned some hard lessons, and I think he's starting to understand, the motor, the energy level, the intensity level that you have to come out with, the physicality, and the activity level. If he plays at the activity level, that he's played at the last two games, now the next step is going to be for us, maybe we now even have somebody we could throw the ball inside to. So thrilled with his growth, defensively the last couple of games, his work on the backboard, but then now can he even take another step where we can, actually have somebody we could throw the ball into too now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Coach Hurley. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Good luck this week, and we will talk to you again next month.